Turning a great idea into a business is, well, it's one of the hardest things you can do. But the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs program has a really cool idea. What if the secret ingredient is mentorship? The program connects brand new entrepreneurs with seasoned pros all across Europe. But here's the catch. How do you make sure these are game-changing partnerships and not just glorified EU-funded internships? Well, today we're going to pop the hood on the incredible quality machine they've built to make every single connection a home run.
You really have two possible outcomes here. On one side, you've got the promise, a dynamic, collaborative partnership that can literally change the trajectory of a new business. But on the other side, you've got the peril, a totally mismatched, low-value experience that's basically a paid internship on the EU's dime. Getting this right isn't just important, it's everything.
So that leads us to the big question, right? How does a huge international program like this, we're talking thousands of people across dozens of countries, make sure that every single match is a success story and not a cautionary tale? How do they do it?
All right, so here's our roadmap for digging into this. First, we'll talk a little more about that promise and peril. Then, we're going to meet the gatekeepers of the whole system. After that, we'll dive into their pretty intense vetting process, see how they craft that perfect match, look at what goes on during the exchange, and finally, piece it all together into their blueprint for success.
Okay, so the entire quality control system really hinges on one crucial group of people, the intermediary organizations, or as they're called, IOs. Think of them as the expert coaches on the ground, and they are the absolute first line of defense for quality.
So what exactly is an IO? Well, they're officially appointed organizations. Think chambers of commerce or startup incubators. And their job isn't just to play matchmaker. No, their core mission is to actively go out, find the right entrepreneurs, and then build genuinely successful, high-value relationships between them.
And this, right here, this is the secret sauce. The program's quality manual states it loud and clear. The performance of an IO isn't measured by how many matches they make. It's measured by how many of those matches are successful. That one little word, successful, changes the entire incentive structure. It's all about quality, not quantity. This obsession with success means the vetting process is, frankly, intense. The IOs basically have to become part-time detectives, digging deep into every single application to make sure it's the real deal. So, just to give you a taste of how deep this goes, let me ask you a question. When an experienced business owner applies to be a host in this program, what do you think is the very first tiny detail the IO looks at?
Believe it or not, it's their email address. I know it sounds almost ridiculously simple, right? But it's actually a brilliant first pass test to check if someone is legit and actually committed. And the logic behind this is so clever. See, if they get an application from, say, erasmus.project@gmail.com, that's a huge red flag. An official company email, though, helps prove the applicant is the actual business owner, not just an HR person or an assistant who could quit 2 weeks into the exchange. It's a simple, elegant way to start verifying identity from square one.
The detective work goes even deeper. See, the program needs real entrepreneurs, people who own the business, not just senior-level employees. So IOs ask two very pointed questions. First, who has to approve your decisions? And second, can you sell the company? If the answers are nobody but me and yes, ding, 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 they've found a genuine host entrepreneur.
So, once both the new and host entrepreneurs have been properly vetted, the next critical phase begins, actually crafting the perfect match. And this isn't just some handshake agreement. It's a very detailed plan, and it's called the commitment.
And the guiding philosophy for this whole stage is so important. I'm going to say it clearly. This is a business partnership. It is not an internship. Every single thing, from the language they use to the goals they set, is built around that core idea of a mutually beneficial business-to-business exchange.
In fact, get this. The program has what they call 3 forbidden words that IOs are trained to never, ever use. They can't call the financial support a bursary because that sounds like a student scholarship. And they absolutely cannot use the words internship or stage because those words frame the new entrepreneur as a junior trainee, not the business collaborator they're meant to be. The language here really matters. And the approval process itself? It's a masterclass in checks and balances. First, the two entrepreneurs propose the match. Then, the IO drafts the work plan. But then, it has to be reviewed by both entrepreneurs and the IO on the other side. After that, both lead IOs have to give their approval before it goes for a final automated check. It's a multi-layered system where at least 4 different parties have to sign off. Nothing slips through the cracks. So what is everyone looking for in that work plan? Well, a strong plan is all about specifics, measurable activities,
clear goals, and a genuine win-win for both businesses. It reads like a real entrepreneurial project. A weak plan, on the other hand, is full of vague tasks, the benefits are totally one-sided, and honestly, it just looks like an intern's to-do list. Only the strong plans survive.
Okay, but the IO's job is not over once the entrepreneurs start working together. Not even close. In fact, that's when a whole new super important phase of quality control kicks in: constant monitoring and support.
Just look at a typical 6-month exchange. The support is baked right in. In month 1, the host IO literally meets the new entrepreneur when they arrive. Throughout the exchange, there are regular check-ins, joint calls, and communication between the IOs. This lets them spot any potential problems and step in to help before things go off the rails. All this monitoring is just one part of a bigger workflow. It starts way before the trip with pre-departure training. Then you have the ongoing collaboration and monitoring we just talked about, and it all wraps up with a mandatory feedback loop. Both entrepreneurs have to fill out detailed surveys, and the IOs have to review and validate that feedback to officially close the relationship. That data is gold for improving the program.
So when you put all these different pieces together, the vetting, the matching, the monitoring, you don't just have a process. What you really have is a comprehensive, powerful blueprint for ensuring quality on a massive, international scale.
Ultimately, the incredible success of this program really stands on 5 pillars. You've got proactive gatekeepers, the IOs, who are laser-focused on creating successful outcomes. You've got that rigorous detective-style vetting. You have co-created plans that are real entrepreneurial projects. You have layered approvals for total accountability. And finally, you have that continuous hands-on monitoring to make sure everything stays on track.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating final thought. We live in a world that's rushing headfirst into AI and automated matchmaking for everything. But this program has built its quality machine to be deeply, intentionally, and unapologetically human. And it really makes you wonder, is this kind of intensive, personal, human-led process the only real way to guarantee quality and create partnerships that truly succeed? Definitely something to think about.